Hello, my name is Michael Meehan, and today I will be doing my 4 questions. So, for question number one, the question is, why is it important for company leaders to seek employee feedback about their success and challenges, and what should leaders do with the feedback they obtain? So, seeking employee feedback about success and challenges is crucial for several reasons. Firstly, it fosters a culture of open communication and transparency within the organization, which can lead to increased trust and morale among employees. So, when leaders actively solicit feedback, it demonstrates that they can value the perspectives and experiences of their team members. Secondly, gathering feedback allows leaders to gain valuable insights into the strengths and weaknesses of their organization. Employees are often on the front lines of daily operations and can provide valuable firsthand knowledge that the higher ups might not see day to day about what's working well and what areas need improvement. Thirdly, employee feedback can serve as a powerful tool for driving continuous improvement and innovation within the company. By listening to suggestions and concerns from employees, leaders can identify opportunities and implement positive changes and enhance their productivity, efficiency, and just the overall performance of the organization. Once leaders obtain the feedback from the employees, it's essential to take meaningful action based on the insights gathered. This may involve implementing changes to address specific challenges or building on further successes to further strengthen the organization. Additionally, leaders should communicate transparently with employees about how their feedback is being used and any resulting decisions or initiatives. Overall, seeking and acting on employee feedback is essential for creating a positive work environment, driving organizational growth, and ultimately fostering success for the company as a whole. So that's what I have for question one. Question two is, why is it necessary or desirable for employees to understand how and why company change is taking place? To what extent do you think this best practice is actually followed in the real world? So, understanding how and why company change is taking place is crucial for employees for a plethora of reasons. Some of those reasons being engagement, reduced resistance, better decision making, cultural impact, and alignment. So, for engagement, employees who understand the rationale behind a change are more likely to feel engaged in the process. They may feel more invested in the success of the change and be more willing to contribute their ideas and efforts to make it successful because they feel and know that they're a part of the movement of what's going on. Reduced resistance. Change often meets resistance from employees who feel blindsided or uncertain about its purpose. So the opposite. When employees understand the reasons for a change, they are less likely to resist it or go against it. Instead, they may actively support and participate in the change or process. Better decision making. Understanding the context and reasoning behind a change enables employees to make better decisions in their day-to-day work and everyday work experiences. They can see how individual contributions fit into the bigger picture and make choices that support the company's objectives. Cultural impact. Changes can have significant cultural impact for an organization. When employees understand why a change is happening, they can better assess how it will affect the company's culture and adapt accordingly. Alignment. When employees understand the reasons behind a change, they are more likely to align their actions and behaviors with the new direction of the company. This alignment ensures that everybody is working towards the same goal, increased overall efficiency and effectiveness. In the real world, the extent to which this best practice is followed can vary widely depending on factors such as organizational culture, communication practices, leadership style, and the nature of the change itself. In some companies, leadership may prioritize transparency and communication, ensuring that the employees are well informed about changes and their rationale. In these organizations, employees are more likely to understand and support company changes. However, in other organizations, communication about changes may be lacking or ineffective. Leaders may not adequately explain the reasons behind changes, leaving employees feeling confused or distrustful. In such cases, employees may be less likely to understand or support company changes, leading to increased resistance and decreased effectiveness of the change efforts. Overall, while understanding the reasons behind the company changes is widely recognized as a best practice, its implementation in the real world can vary depending on how effectively communication and transparency are prioritized within an organization. For question 3, the question is, do you think that promoting a communal culture is compatible with promoting company diversity? Why or why not? Promoting a communal culture and fostering company diversity can indeed be compatible and mutually reinforcing. A communal environment that values inclusivity naturally encourages diversity by welcoming individuals from various backgrounds and perspectives. In such an environment, collaboration thrives as diverse viewpoints contribute to more innovative solutions and approaches. Additionally, a communal culture promotes learning and growth, fostering understanding and appreciation of diverse perspectives among employees. This inclusive atmosphere not only enhances employee engagement and retention, but also contributes to a more diverse and vibrant workforce over time. However, it's crucial to ensure that efforts to promote communal culture do not inadvertently exclude or marginalize any group. Companies must actively work to create an environment where everyone feels valued and included, implementing inclusive policies, providing diversity training, and fostering open communication channels to address any challenges that may arise. Question 4 is, do different cultures experience high power or low power distance in business as a reflection of their mode of political governance? Explain your answer. Yes, they often exist a correlation between the power distance in business and the mode of political governance within a culture. Power distance refers to the extent to which less powerful members of institutions and organizations within a country expect and accept the power that power is distributed unequally. Here's how different political governance systems may influence power distance in business. Democratic systems, mixed systems, cultural influence, authoritarian regimes. So with democratic systems and democracies where power is distributed among elected representatives or through direct participation, there tends to be a lower power distance in both politics and business. Democratic principles promote equality, transparency, and accountability, which often translate into flatter organizational structures and more participative decision-making processes in the business. Employees are more likely to question authority and expect to have a say in decision-making. With mixed systems, some countries have mixed governance systems where power is shared between different branches or levels of government, such as federal systems or parliamentary republics. The power distance in business may vary depending on the specific culture and historical context of the country. In some cases, power distance in business might mirror the dominant political structure, while in others, it might be influenced by other cultural factors. Cultural influences, it's important to note that cultural factors between political governance also play a significant role in shaping power distance in business. For example, Confucian-influenced cultures tend to have higher power distance regardless of the political system in place, emphasizing respect for authority and hierarchy relationships. Conversely, cultures that value individualism may exhibit lower power distance, even if they have authoritarian political systems. Overall, while political governance can influence power dynamics in business to some extent, it's only one of several factors at play. Cultural norms, historical context, economic conditions, and other social factors also contribute to shaping power distance in business within different cultures. And then the authoritarian regimes in countries where authoritarian regimes where power is concentrated in the hands of few, such as in monarchies or dictatorships, there tends to be a higher power distance in both politics and business. Citizens are accustomed to hierarchies and centralized control, which extends to the business sphere. Decision making is typically top down, and there's a significant gap between those in power and those without. So, overall, seeking employee feedback builds trust, improves morale, and informs decision making. Leaders should act on feedback by implementing changes and communicating decisions. Employees understanding company changes fosters buy-in and reduces resistance. Lack of communication during change can lead to distrust. Promoting communal culture and diversity can coexist. They can both exist at the same time, enhancing collaboration and innovation. Different cultures may experience varying power distance in business, influenced by political governance, but also by historical, social, and economic factors. The existence of a power distance does not damage organizational culture. The damage comes when a sudden, arbitrary, and selfish change of power relations between an employee and the guy who could fire him turns in favor, and for the sole pleasure of the latter. How it damages workplace culture lies primarily in the misuse or the use of power in an unequal relationship. If your boss is always asking you to do favors and cover his butt, but the minute you stand up to the unreasonable ones he does the I'm your boss thing to, then it's a breach of the typical power distance, because suddenly your boss decides that the consensus and informal buddy system of working as a team suddenly no longer applies. That severely damages work relationships for two reasons. The guy with power just revealed himself to be a selfish turncoat, because he's only nice to get something out of you. He's and will resort to power when that doesn't work. So he's just kissing people's butt and kissing up to people. So the other thing is the guy with the power has demonstrated his unwillingness to be kind, and at the one moment he absolutely needed to be kind, that's when he showed his true colors and really showed who he was. And that's when someone gets into a situation, that's when their true colors really come out. So power distance is also flexible and not always consistent. When I mean that, there are indeed certain things, but potentially unethical decisions conflict in the workplace. So sometimes it makes more sense to just speak up and identify issues that would bring trouble to both sides, even though it's going to. You're saying what really needs to be said. Higher power distance cultures tend to assume that the higher ups of a work environment make all the rules and everyone else under them will simply comply, where that's not the case all the time. That's not always what happens. Not everybody's going to be a kiss up and listen to everything you say. And when a higher up runs into a person who's not going to listen and that's new to them, it's not going to go well, because they're used to everybody listening to them and they want the power and they like the power. And there are a lot of people like that. So very hierarchical and high risk cultures are just high risk to work in general. Like working, some examples would be maybe like having a job in like politics or in the CIA. This will have this sort of power distance. So in some work cultures, like a low power distance would be something like employees having a more informal and empowered position in the workplace. The boss will turn and involve them in many decision-making processes, so everybody's involved, everybody gets a say, everybody feels and knows like they're part of the movement, like we were talking about before. You could say these types of low-power cultures have an individualist, independent streak among the lower order. The power distance is simply how unequal relationships view the use of power. Yep, so that's what I have for my 4 questions. I thank you guys for listening and being a part of this. This is the last video reflection for this semester. Thank you guys.